Guys, before I begin this video, please can you hit the like button and let's try and get this video to 1,000 likes within the next 24 hours. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. And guys, in this next news story, 4 gang members have been sentenced to a combined total of 160 years in jail are found guilty of the attempted murder of 2 men in Wakefield. One of the victims has been left requiring 24-hour care following the incident at a property in Wakefield on June the 23rd, 2021. Isaiah Anderson, who's 26 from Leeds, Benjamin Forrester, who's 27 of Wakefield, Jeremiah Anderson, who's 29 of Leeds, and Denzel Patrick, who's 30 from Leeds, were all found guilty following a trial at Leeds Crown Court of 2 counts of attempted murder, attempted Section 18 wounding, and affray. They were all handed 35-year custodial sentences with an extended licence period of 5 years. The court heard the defendants were part of the Chappie drugs line and that the events at the address were a retaliation for an earlier incident that day when Jeremiah Anderson was attacked by members of the rival Red Drugs line, which was based in Leicester. Just after 6 p.m. on the 23rd of June 2021, the 4 defendants met and went to the property armed with swords, machetes and knives. They forced entry and assaulted 3 men. One of the victims was slashed at by one of the men armed with a machete before being pushed from a first-floor window by another man. The other 2 victims were also pushed from the first floor but were repeatedly stabbed as they lay unconscious on the ground outside. One man was left with an acute bleed to the brain and multiple stab wounds, including through his lung and his liver. More than 3 years later, his life-changing injuries require 24-hour care. The other man also received multiple stab wounds to the chest and other deep lacerations, including to his pelvis and ankle. A video released showed the movements of the group before and after the attack, including footage of Forrester throwing items in the river and the Andersons moving items used in the incident between vehicles. Senior Investigating Officer Detective Inspector Phil Davis said these men have demonstrated a willingness to use extreme levels of violence and retaliation against the rival drugs line. This incident had taken place in broad daylight in a well-built-up residential area and been witnessed by people in neighbouring properties, including children. One of the victims of this attack is likely to require lifelong care due to the injuries they sustained. These men could very easily have been facing murder charges with the injuries they inflicted during this incident. All 4 refused to accept responsibility for their actions and have shown little remorse for what they have done. They've been given big prison sentences, and I hope this provides reassurance of the victims, their families, and the wider public. Absolute madness, guys. So we'll go a little bit more into this case. So in court, it was heard that one of the men was actually pushed through a bathroom window, and it was only the drain pipe that broke his fall. But the other 2 guys, they were attacked and they were thrown out the window, and then they were set upon in the garden, stabbed up real bad. As I said, footage showed the men calmly walk into the address, knowing that violent fury they were about to unleash, and they were then caught on camera afterwards running from the scene in a waiting Seat Ibiza, which was later seen with a white van. As I said, Forrest was captured on camera throwing something over a wall towards the River Calder before jumping over it. In court, there were cries of "I love you," which echoed throughout the public gallery at the court as all 4 were handed the sentences made up of 35-year custodial sentence and an extended licence period of 5 years. His Honour Judge Tom Bayliss told the men they must serve up to 2/3 of the custodial term in prison before going before the parole board, who will then determine if they are safe to be released. So the prosecutor told the court that one of the men will need lifelong 24-hour care for his injuries, which included a hematoma, lacerations and stab wounds following the attack. He said he is still at a specialist facility and is living on a limited diet of croissants and milkshakes as he awaits further surgery. He said that a neuroconsultant psychiatrist said he still has cognitive impairment and does not know if he is at home or not. He said it is the doctor's opinion that he will never be capable of independent living. Yet once he's released from hospital, he will need to be in a care home. A victim impact statement was written by one of the victim's brothers on behalf of his family, and he said he planned to work in the Netherlands just before he was attacked, but now he has to rethink because his brother was attacked, and now he needs to focus on his care and help his mother with that when he returns home. He said, "My mum heard rumours of Two men from Leicester in a critical condition in Leeds, and she tried to call his phone to no avail and then got a phone call, the worst phone call you could get. It was a scream that still haunts me to this day. My mum screamed my name and told me to come down to speak to the detective to listen and communicate with her in Somali. I refused to believe it. It was only when we arrived at Leeds General Infirmary to speak to the doctors we learnt he will never be the same. He was in a coma. He eventually woke up but couldn't speak. It was unclear if he even recognized us when we went to visit. He tried talking, and that was when we realized it wasn't the same brother that we knew. So, in mitigation for one of the guys, Patrick, is a solicitor, said he had no previous convictions before being convicted of 2 counts of attempted murder of Frey, attempt to inflict GBH alongside his colleagues. Sire and Jeremiah Anderson had pleaded guilty to the Frey charge during the trial, and the defense for them said that they had not offended since, and they had positive and glowing references which were handed to the court. So barrister added, it's clear that Denzel Patrick is a completely different person to the one that showed itself on the day in question. The references are all from responsible sources who have known him for many years. He's extremely kind, compassionate, dependable, and hardworking. For the other guy, Forrest, he said he has been on bail in the Wakefield area since his arrest and has not reoffended. Mitigation for Sire Anderson, he said he's still a young man. He was 23 at the time of the commission of defence and is now 26. The age of when he's likely to be released, it's fair to say he will be at least in his 40s and will be a middle-aged man. He was and is remorseful about what he has done. He was the first to plead guilty to the Section 18 offence during the close of the prosecution's case, and he goes on to express remorse for his actions. For Jeremiah Anderson, his solicitor said his partner and mother had attended court to support him. He said there's been no further offending. He said there are character references and the author speak very different person to what happened on that day in 2021. The court heard that Anderson had raised funds for a number of charities, and his solicitor said he made a terrible mistake and he's going to have to live with those mistakes. Judge Bailey said the four had gone to the property with the intention to obtain or retain the upper hand, and said the catalyst of the attacks was the assault on Jeremiah Anderson. He said the purpose of your attack was to punish those you believed were responsible for that and your commercial interest in stopping them pursuing activities in West Yorkshire. It led you to try and kill these 2 men. It was also witnessed by neighbours and children playing outside. Your purpose was to kill the 2 men who you attacked, and you attempted to do so in view of members of the public. You left the 2 men for dead. The impact of them on those who witnessed the attack was significant. The court also heard that the men then disposed of the items, including the knife and glove, cleaned the car they were in, and the judge added none of you have shown any real remorse for your actions. I conclude in each of your cases you are highly dangerous men. The attack was planned, it was targeted, it used gratuitous violence, and it involved multiple weapons. Guys, this is a new story coming from the UK. It's your boy GT. Keep it locked, keep it real.